Welcome back, YouTube family, for another Temu sponsored video. You're going to start out needing a terracotta pot. I picked this 2-pack up at the Dollar Tree, and some material, any material, and I'm using the Temu air dry clay. And I know I had 3 tools, but I lost one, and if it fell on the floor, the craft from Kitty usually hangs out in here, so it's probably gone. Then I'm just going to cut a piece of the material off long enough that it will wrap around your terracotta pot. So whatever size terracotta pot you use, just make sure when you cut your material, it's long enough to wrap around it with some excess. Then I'm going to go in with a pencil and draw a face on my terracotta pot. And then, even though these were not in my haul sponsored by Temu, these are a Temu item. These are my acrylic paint pens that I just absolutely love, and I'm going to draw over my face. Now, when I did the lips, I realized I should have just erased the heavy lines for the face, because you can kind of still see them, but I'm not worried about that. I will cover those up. But for the eyes, that is what I did. I just erased it and used the faint line to go over it. And I have to say, these paint markers are probably as comparable as to the more expensive brands that you can buy at any craft store. Once I'm done with the face, I go in with my air dry clay. I just pinch off a little piece of this brown that was the closest to the color of the terracotta pot, rolled it in a ball, and used the tools to push it down. And I didn't use any glue because the air dry clay does stick to the terracotta pot. Then I take my piece of material, I fold it into thirds long ways, and as you can see, I'm just going in with my hot glue gun to make a sill. I did burn my fingers there, but it's okay. I've done this enough. The pain only lasts for a couple seconds. I do have finger protectors, but I never remember to use them. So once I get the material glued down into a strip, I take the ends and fold them into a point, and I use the hot glue to hold them down. This time I was lucky and did not burn my fingers. Then I go in with the Dollar Tree clips, and I clip the material around the rim of the terracotta pot, and I tie the material into a knot, but I manipulate the material in a way so that when it's knotted, the good side of the pointed ends point outward, and then I use some hot glue to glue them down and hold them into place. And then I go in between the rim and the material, and I put some hot glue down. Now, going in with my acrylic paint markers, also a Temu product, I go in and put on some freckles because it's cute. Now, this is a Pinterest inspired craft. The only thing is I can't remember who I saw this from, so if I find it on Pinterest, I will put who it is in my description box. So then I take a darker brown air dry clay and a couple colored pencils, and I roll out thin strips of the air dry clay. Now here I'm cutting it so that my edges are straight. This is unnecessary because we are going to curl these around the colored pencils to make curly hairs. So if you decide you're going to try this craft, you can skip that step. So I make about 20, I would say. I don't know, I didn't count, so I'm going to guess I made about 20 curls in various lengths. And this air dry clay dries really fast. I think in all it took me about 2.5 hours ish to do this whole craft. That's how quickly this air dry clay dries. Now, these aren't thick curls. I did go a little bit thin on the air dry clay for these curls. Whoa, that's a tongue twister. So I'm sure that had some to do with how quickly they dried. What I do is once they started to dry, I would take them off the colored pencils, and then because unlike the nose, they're somewhat dry, they wouldn't just stick to the terracotta pot. So I'm just going to go in with some hot glue, do a little dollop of hot glue on the top edge of the terracotta pot, and I will stick my curly air dry clay hair to it. So you don't have to really layer it because you can always play with these curls later and use a little bit of hot glue to tack them to the terracotta pot. Now, when I was doing this, I couldn't lay the terracotta pot on its back, so you can kind of see how I was placing the hair, because when I was attempting to place it, the hair kept falling toward the back and it was a little bit more difficult. In the future, I do plan on working on my camera angles, and hopefully that will be successful because it looks really cool when this is coming together, and I wish I could show you. Once I get all of the hairs glued on, here's what she looks like. Then I take styrofoam, and I didn't do this on camera, I apologize, and put down in there, it was just some packing foam I had. You could use the Dollar Tree floral foam or a pool noodle. And then I filled it with some picks that I've purchased over time, some lavender, and I don't remember what the rest of them were. But here she is, all finished up. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Also, check out the description box for the Temu air dry clay link. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. I hope you like what you saw and you plan on sticking around by clicking on that subscribe button. And when the bell appears, if you click on it, you can choose to be notified every time I upload a video. And I'd like to say a special thanks to everybody who has been supporting me and who has subscribed to my channel and hit all of the thumbs up on my videos. I really appreciate all of your support. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you to everyone, and happy crafting!